Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back with another recommendations video based on your zodiac sign, and this one is for Capricorn. So the dates for Capricorn are December 22nd through January 19th. It is an earth sign and the symbol is the sea goat. So some traits that I found that are very common for Capricorns are they are ambitious, workaholics, very persistent, but very realistic. They can be sensitive sometimes, but they are very practical people, tend to be very disciplined and can be stubborn at times. They are responsible. Often they are motivated by loyalty and duty. They can be very focused, and sometimes they can even be seen as unemotional because of some of those things. So some famous Capricorn authors are Michelle Obama, Edgar Allan Poe, Stan Lee, who wrote comics, J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, Stephenie Meyer, who wrote the Twilight series, Nicholas Sparks, he writes a lot of adult romance books, J.D. Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye, and Sui Ishida, who was the artist for the Tokyo Ghoul series. So let us jump into the book recommendations. So the first book that I'm going to recommend is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. This book is an adult romance story. It's very cute, sweet. It's between this workaholic, very intelligent woman and this escort that she hires to teach her how to date and those types of things. So of course the character that I think fits these characteristics is our main female lead character, Stella. Stella has autism, and that does lend to her having a lot of these characteristics. She's very persistent. She kind of hyper focuses on things quite frequently. She is a workaholic. She absolutely loves to work. She works 7 days a week, and so she has thrown out all her clothes but her work clothes. So definitely she loves and enjoys her work a lot. She is very practical. She doesn't tend to see the nuance in things where she thinks that things are the way that they are, and that's very practical and straightforward. She's very disciplined and responsible. She likes to have her routines. She doesn't like to do things that could be dangerous or that are kind of outside her comfort zone. And people do sometimes see her as unemotional or distant because of some of the other characteristics that go along with this as well. So I think that she definitely has a lot of these Capricorn characteristics, but you kind of get to know her a lot and you see underneath and what she's thinking and her feelings, thoughts, emotions. So I really think that she would be one that would be endearing for people with those Capricorn traits. Next book that I am going to recommend is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is a YA sci-fi book, and it's set in this world where they are living underground on this planet that they crashed into because when they come above ground, these aliens called the Krell are able to bomb them and kill them. So they have these fighter pilots who are kind of the elite, and they are there to protect people, and they go out and kind of fight against the Krell. Now our main character is Spensa, and she really wants to be a fighter pilot. But the character that I think fits these Capricorn traits really well is Jorgen. He is the kind of main male character opposite Spensa in this book, and he is very serious. He's very focused on his job of being an accomplished pilot. He practices a lot. He's definitely a workaholic in that sense, where he's very much just living for being a pilot, which is his job. He's extremely ambitious. He wants to be the best. He's also very stubborn and persistent, but also quite practical and realistic. When Spensa is being kind of extra and over the top, he reels her in and kind of brings it back down to what realistically they should be doing and what the best choices are in different situations. So he's definitely the responsible one of the group. He's very much motivated by a duty to take care of his people and a duty to his family, who is kind of this elite family, and so he wants to make his family proud of him, but also protect his people as a pilot. And he's often seen as being kind of cold, unemotional, rude, standoffish because of these things, because he is so hyper-focused and he so much wants to succeed at this, and he has a lot going on inside that he's just trying to tamp down to make sure that he is focusing on being the best pilot that he can be. So yeah, I think Jorgen is an interesting character that has a lot of those Capricorn traits, and seeing him opposite Spensa, who is just out of control and wild and extra and so crazy, is very entertaining and fun. Next book that I'm going to mention in this list, I don't actually own, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Cloon. This is a fantasy story that follows this man named Linus, who is a workaholic. He is very much just married to his work, and then he is given this assignment at this orphanage, and he goes out and meets these very different and eccentric people, and they kind of bring out a different side of him, and it's a very sweet, wholesome, like, hug of a story. And obviously the character that I think would relate to Capricorns is Linus. He is definitely a workaholic. That's all he really does. That's all he really cares about is his work. But he also is very much motivated by a duty to do what he thinks is right and legal and lawful and best for the children in these orphanages that he goes to inspect and make sure that things are being run properly. He's very stubborn and responsible and practical, and things are by the books and by the rules, and that's how he likes it, and he feels safe within that area, and he doesn't really branch out from his little bubble. So he is often kind of viewed as being a little bit unemotional because he's just kind of looking at the facts and presenting things the way that they are, and he doesn't get emotionally involved in the things that he's doing for the most part. So I definitely think that Linus is a character that shows a lot of those Capricorn traits in a more softer, sweet way that's kind of endearing, and I really, really love Linus, and I think that he would be one that Capricorns would really like as well. Next on the list that I'm going to recommend is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like this book is really good for recommending for these videos because there are so many different characters in here. But the character that I am recommending for at this point is Matthias. So this is a YA fantasy story that follows 6 different main characters, and Matthias is one of those. He is almost like on the enemy side, but they need him in order to accomplish their goals. Matthias is such a unique character, and I really enjoyed him in these books. I loved seeing his character growth, but he is a very much focused on his work person, and I think that the characteristic that is most prominent in him, that is a Capricorn characteristic, is his sense of duty, and what he's doing and all the work that he's putting in is based on his belief that what he's doing is right and good, and it's going to benefit the world and his people in general. And he's also very disciplined and very practical and very down to earth. And I love his interactions with his love interest, Nina, in these books. It's so entertaining because she is very different than that. And I think they see him a lot as unemotional, as kind of stern and stuff. And it's so funny to watch them together because she tries to pull out a little bit more of his sensitive emotional side, and he tries to kind of lock it down and not let her do it. So it's so much fun to read about those two together, and I think they were actually probably one of my favorite dynamics in this book. And the final book that I'm going to recommend for Capricorns is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is an adult high fantasy series that is Chinese inspired, and it follows this girl, Rin, who wants to go to this prestigious military academy, so she studies really hard in order to get in there. And it is a very military-based book. Definitely look up trigger warnings for this one. But the character that I think kind of fits with these Capricorn traits is Kitai. So he is Rin's friend who is very much a book nerd, but he's so smart, he's so intelligent, and he's so focused on succeeding in his work, his line of work. He wants to be a military strategist, and he definitely is a workaholic in that sense. He will sit there and focus on it and try to work out different scenarios and statistics and all those things for hours and days, and he just gets very immersed in his work. He's very ambitious. He wants to be the best. He wants to be the top military strategist in their country, and he definitely has the skills and smarts for it. He's also motivated by a sense of duty because his family has been serving this monarchy, this country, for a long time. And so he has this belief in what they are doing is right to protect their country from this invading other nation. He's very realistic and responsible and disciplined, and very frequently he is the only voice of reason around, and he definitely is one that I would trust to keep people out of trouble when they are trying to get themselves into trouble. He's such an interesting character. I really loved him so much, and particularly in this book. Kitai in this book is my absolute favorite, and I just adore him so much. So those are my book recommendations for Capricorns. Let me know down in the comments what you think, what books you think might fit with the Capricorn traits really well. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me and see all my zodiac sign recommends videos, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.